Welcome back. You're getting ready to kick it off here in the second half. Great halftime shows from the Aces Pride and the Marching Raiders. Hope you enjoyed that. Senior night, again, recognizing from both schools. And they're ready to get underway. The Aces are set to receive. They're down by 7, 21-14, as we get the third quarter underway. Low liner, scooped up by Comiso. Comiso across the 35-yard line. Out to about the 36. Looks like they might have even given, 36. I was thinking they might have given him forward progress out to about the 37, but doesn't look like that'll be the case. If you're just joining us, again, the Aces down by 7, and they've turned the ball over a couple times, couple of interceptions. The height of the Wayne Trace Raiders, the defensive players, has placed the Aces at a little bit of a disadvantage. Of course, Greer throwing the ball. Jake, is not a tall quarterback. So, this time Jake's going to hang on to it, keep it himself. Greer, good yarn. He fumbles the ball at the end of the play, and they're going to say he's down by contact. Nope, now they're going to say he's not. Now they're going to talk about it because one of the officials was indicating that Greer was down before the ball popped loose. And one of the other officials was indicating that it was a recovery for the Raiders. So we're going to wait and see here. They're having a conference about it right now. And the Wayne Trace Raider coach is indicating, no, we got the ball. So they're going to say nope. Greer got the first down, and that the ball popped loose after his knee touched, after he was down. So the Aces dodge a bullet and avoid turning it over for the third or fourth time tonight. Comiso with the carry. Comiso down to the 40-yard line. And Mason, boy, he had his hands wrapped around that football while he was running down the field. So the Aces come out and keeping it on the ground here for the first couple of plays and pick up a couple of first downs in short order. Comiso the back behind Greer again. Greer hands off to Comiso. Comiso powers down to near the 35-yard line. So perhaps this is one of the adjustments that's been made by Coach Smith at halftime is they're going to back off a little bit on the throwing game and keep the ball on the ground. So far, they're doing pretty well on this offensive drive. Again, a bit of a scare there with Greer nearly losing the football, but they retain possession. Greer works out of the shotgun. Jake rolling out. He's behind Comiso. Gets a block, cuts upfield. Greer inside the 30 and down to the 29. And a pickup of about 6, and that should move the chains. And it does. Greer gets the first down. Oh, nope, they're going to say, yeah, there we go. I was confused for a minute there because there were guys with striped shirts indicating a first down, and the chain gang on the far side of the field was not doing anything. But the Aces with a fresh set of downs, and again, kind of a sticky handoff between Greer and Comiso. Looks like they kind of got tangled up with each other on the exchange. And as a result, just a short gain on the play. Pickup of about 3-4 yards down to about the 27. Greer nearly gets him to jump. Jake hangs onto the ball himself. Greer going to the 20-yard line and falling inside the 20, and there's a flag on the play. If it stands, Greer is going to be down at about the 20-yard line. We'll see who the infraction is against. It was late in the play, and the Aces are starting to walk back already. So that's not a good sign. And it looks like we might see a hold against Hicksville, and we do. So that'll back them up 10 from the spot of the foul. That's going to put the ball back at about the 37-yard line. And that should make it second and about 16. And Greer got his own center with the hard count, and that's going to back him up 5 more with a false start. So second and 16 is going to become second and 21 as they're back near the 42-yard line now. The Aces are going in the wrong direction. So 9:50 and the clock rolling. And the Aces so far staying away from the passing game, but it looked like that might change here. We'll see. Greer with Comiso in the backfield with him. Takes the snap, drops back, looks downfield, puts the ball in the air, and overthrows Comiso to bring up third and 23. That would have been a hard catch for Mason to make anyway because he was being defended by number 15, John Sin. And John Sin is 6'3", and Comiso stands at 5'9". So just a little bit of a height advantage for the Wayne Trace Raiders in that matchup. Third and 23 for the Aces. Again, they're down by 7, looking to get back into this game here in the third quarter. Handoff and a quick pitch back, and then back again to Greer. And Greer's got Thiel coming across, and he catches it in the end zone. We saw that play earlier in the season, and the Aces pull it off again tonight. It's been successful both times. Greer to Comiso, Comiso to Tunis, Tunis back to Greer, and Greer then launches it down to Parker Thiel in the end zone for 6 points. So the Aces not only convert on third and 23, they put it into the end zone to draw within a point. 21-20 now, and here comes Salvador Avalos to try to tie things up. Tunis the holder. Snap, ball down, kick is up, and good. Salvador Avalos 3 for 3 tonight for the Aces, and we're tied at 21. Coach Smith coming out onto the field, giving some low fives to his team as they come off. Good job to Jake Greer. Nice razzle-dazzle there. As again, Parker Thiel with the good hands in the end zone. And the Aces are back into the game. We're tied at 21 with 9:19 to go in the third quarter. And the Aces getting ready to kick it off to the Raiders for the first time in the second half. Avalos teeing it up at the 40-yard line. And we'll see if the Aces defense can contain the Raiders here. Both the offensives have really been working well tonight for both these teams. Aces really need to be able to put a stop on the Raiders here. Avalos shuttle kicks it down to about the 24-yard line. It's scooped up, and a flag on the play. Seth Saylor got the ball and took it out close to the 30-yard line. And we're going to have a hold against the Raiders. The Raiders playing the first half of the game really relatively penalty-free. So they jumped off sides, and really that was about it. All the major penalties in the first half went against the Aces. So this is the first time that the Raiders have been backed up 10. That moves the ball back to the 20-yard line, where it'll be first and 10 for Wayne Trace. 9:13 to go in the third quarter. Trace in, works up under center. Hands off, nothing doing. Might have made it back to the line of scrimmage, but Eli Sin not able to make anything happen up the middle that time. So it'll be second and 10. Gabe Contreras came in and stopped that play. Clock still rolls. And now Trey Sin will drop back into the shotgun. Looking to put the ball in the air. He launches it towards Eli Sin. Sin does not make the catch. Tried to one-hand it. And Tunis was right there along with number 5, Mason Van Atta. Between the two of them, they knocked it loose. And then we've got a flag on the play back towards the original line of scrimmage. That's going to be a hold against the Raiders again. So the Aces will let them redo the down and back them up 10 more. And now the Raiders are looking at second and 25. And Trey Sin back at his own 5-yard line. Throws it off, and it's out of the reach of Eli Sin. So that'll bring up third and 25. Trey Sin tried to hurl it out, a quick screen pass to Eli Sin, and it was just out of his reach. That'll bring up third down. And the Aces would love to be able to hold him here and force the Raiders to punt deep in their half of the field. And of course, we've seen Wayne Trace pick up 25-plus yards a few times here tonight. So anything can happen. Sin again drops back out of the shotgun. Takes the snap. Puts the ball in the air. Picked off. Contreras grabbed it, Tunis grabs it and takes it into the end zone. Pick 6 for Peyton Tunis. As the Aces go up 27-21. Don't see any flags on the play. So here comes Salvador Avalos to try to get his 4th extra point of the night, give the Aces a 7-point lead. Tunis will be the holder. Salvador gets himself lined up. Kick is up. And no good. We'll see if that has any repercussions later. But with 8:20 to go in the third quarter, the Aces leading by 6, 27-21. We're going to take a quick break, change tapes. As Avalos misses the extra point, that's his first miss tonight. He's 3 out of 4. So it's only a 6-point lead now for the Aces, and we'll see if that makes any difference over the course of the game. But again, Peyton Tunis with the pick 6 as he takes it into the end zone to give the Aces their first lead in a while. They've been playing catch-up most of this game. So now the Aces out in front. Avalos getting ready to kick off to the Raiders once again. Salvador straight to their deep man, number 2, Saylor. Saylor grabbed by the ankle, and he stumbles down, and will be down at about the 34-yard line. So the Raiders will set up shop, 1st and 10 on their own 34. Down by 6. Trace in. Will drop back. He's all alone in the backfield. Wide receivers on either side. Sin puts it up in the air. It's caught. 1st down yardage and then some out to midfield. John Sin with the catch and run. Sin takes it out to the 50 and moves the chains for the Raiders. Nice crossing route over the middle. Sin was able to catch it on the run and make the most of it. And he picks up about 10 yards after the catch. So the Raiders just like that at midfield. Trace in, dropping back to pass, puts the ball in the air and incomplete. Eli Sin was overthrown that time. That'll make it 2nd and 10. Takes Eli a while to get back to the line after that run down the field. Trace in again with the snap. Again looking downfield, he stumbles, tries to take off up the middle. He was trying to plant his back foot to throw, and it slipped out from underneath him, so he tried to get what he could, took off straight up the field, and actually got back close to the original line of scrimmage. He's going to wind up losing a yard, but really that's not a bad play to only lose a yard under those circumstances. So credit Trey Sin. 3rd and 11 for the Raiders. Sin takes a snap. He's dropping back, looking to throw again. Unloads quickly. It's off the hands of his intended receiver, Jaden Sherry. It ricochets off. A couple of aces dive for it, but nobody's able to make the grab, and that's going to bring up 4th down at their own 49-yard line. And it looks like the Raiders are going to punt the ball away. Sin, their punter, high snap. Gets his leg into it, and it's going to take a nice Raider roll way down. Inside the 10-yard line, it looks like the Aces are going to have to start this offensive drive at about their 7 or 8 yard line. We'll see where the official spot is. But Hicksville's going to have a lot of real estate to deal with. Ball on the 7-yard line.
But they can eat clock as long as they keep it on the ground and eat clock.
So the first order of business will be to give themselves a little breathing room. Greer's going to drop back Comiso next to him in the backfield. And Jake's going to hang on to the ball. Jake's going to take off. Greer's got some great running room. And a good job as Greer gets out to the 25-yard line. And again, buys the Aces the breathing room that they need, gets them out from underneath the shadow of their goalposts. They were going after Jake's arm, cradling the football, but Greer, good job hanging on to the football. 6:45 and the clock's rolling. The Aces in business with a fresh set of downs at their own 25. Greer this time handoff. Nope, he hangs on to it himself, and there's a flag on the play thrown from the defensive side of the ball. Greer looked like he was going to, he fakes the handoff to Comiso. It was a good fake, too, because I thought Mason had the ball. And then he tried to reverse his field and ran into a bunch of trouble. And again, we see a flag thrown from behind the defensive backfield. And it looks like it's going to be a hold against the Aces. It is, and it's declined. So they're going to rather have them eat the down and take the loss. So it'll be it's a ball back now on the 25-yard line, where it will be 2nd and about 15. So Greer now with a 2nd and long, takes the snap, pitches it back to Comiso. Comiso turns the corner. Mason, and there's a flag thrown. Mason gets back to about the 25-yard line, but we'll see what the flag is. We'll see if this time they get backed up even further.
Yeah, it's holding Hicksville.
And it's going to be another hold against the Aces. Yep. And this time, the Raiders are going to back them up. They do. That's just going to make it second and about 20. And Amy is commenting, and perhaps not incorrectly, that this is kind of forcing the Aces to have to put the ball in the air, where the Raiders can take advantage of their height. And Greer does not put it in the air. Instead, gives the ball to Tunis. And Tunis is going to get out to about the 18-yard line, where it'll be a third and long for the Aces. It's like third and about 16. So the Aces with a third and long, with 5:33 left to go in the third quarter. Greer rolling out, gets it to Comiso. Comiso sets his feet, and Comiso gets out past the 20-yard line, but not even back to the original line of scrimmage before all the foul trouble started. It's going to be fourth down and about 12, 13 yards. And so Avalos coming out to punt it away. And the Raiders looking to maybe get some good field position. Avalos gets his foot into it. And it's going to take a nice Aces roll. And it'll be down to about the 37-yard line. So no return on the punt from Avalos. And they'll mark it at the 36-yard line, and that's where the Raiders will take over first and 10 with 5:03 left to go in the third quarter. Aces holding on to that 6-point lead. Raiders break huddle. Trace in. Out of the shotgun. Pitches it over to Schultz. And he's taken down right away. Caleb Schultz, nothing doing there. He's dropped behind the line for a loss. That'll make it second at about 14 for the Raiders. Snap. Trayson puts the ball in the air. And it looked like Eli Sin slipped and lost his footing. And the ball went right between Eli and the other person in the area was number 15, Johnson. And the ball kind of went right between the two of them. Hit the turf, incomplete, and that brings up third and 14 for the Raiders. Sin will drop back in the shotgun again. He's got two wide receivers out on either side of the line. Dropping back, and they're going to take him down in the backfield. He slams the ball to the turf in frustration. It's a big loss, and the Raiders are going to have to punt it away. So the Aces defense gets the job done this series as they push the Raiders way back, all the way back to the 23-yard line where it'll be fourth down and 24. So John Sin is going to punt it away. High snap. Sin gets a hold of it, barely gets his leg into it, and it bounces back the other way. The Raiders down it at their own 47-yard line. So John Sin, a high snap, he had to jump up, and when he has to jump up, he's like 6'5". So that gives you an idea of how high that snap was. So he got a hold of it, but he did not have a lot of time, and he kind of went off the foot and had that backspin on it.
Oh, think about Wayne Trace basketball.
Yeah, it's true. Wayne Trace basketball, that could be some headaches. It got some nice height.
He's got the height.
but it bounced back towards the Raiders, so it took an Aces bounce. Jake Greer and company back on offense. Greer, he launches it, and he's going to overthrow his receiver by about another 5-10 yard overthrow. He had Langham going down the sideline, but just had too much on the ball to bring up 2nd and 10. And again, Greer will be all alone in the backfield. Jake with a stiff arm tries to run it, and he's going to lose a couple. 3:33 to go here in the third quarter. The clock rolls. Greer loses a couple and make it 3rd and 12. Back to the 49-yard line. Puts Tunis in motion. Rolls out in the other direction, looking downfield, gets the ball in the air. It's caught by Parker Thiel. He hangs on to it, and that'll be good for a first down. Nice catch by Parker Thiel, especially because there was no way Parker did not know that he was going to take a shot as soon as he got his hands on the football. But he grabbed it and he held on, and he moves the chains for the Aces. They keep the drive alive. 1st and 10 now at the Raiders' 33-yard line. Under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Greer hangs onto it himself this time. Greer with the quarterback keeper inside the 25-yard line. Greer picks up enough to give him a 2nd and 1. So Greer with 9 yards on the carry. The officials sort of double checking the placement of the ball on this play for some reason. But they've got it all situated. Everybody's happy. It's 2nd and 1. It's really 2nd and less than a yard, but a nice carry from Greer and the quarterback keeper to pick up a little over 9. Zach Whitty in the backfield with Greer right now. Greer drops back, puts up the alley-oop, and it's just out of the hands. Just out of the hands of Braden Langham, and incomplete to bring up 3rd and 1. Nice play. Ball was almost perfectly thrown. It was almost a diving catch. So that leaves the Aces with a 3rd and 1. We'll see if they are going to go to the air again. Whitty back there in the backfield as Greer moves up under center. And Greer keeps it himself to get the first down. He does. Greer dives down to near the 20-yard line. That'll be more than enough to move the chains. So the Aces do what they have to do to get themselves a fresh set of downs. The ball officially at the 21-yard line now. 1st and 10 Aces. And we've got an Ace down on the field. It looks like we've got a cramp. And an official timeout. Doc Haggerty coming out to look at the player on the turf. And I think it's pretty much a cramp. He pretty much just, as soon as he hit the turf, he raised his leg up and started stretching it himself. It's number 55, Balzer. That they're working on. 1:38 left to go in this third quarter. And again, the Aces doing a better job, frankly, in the second half. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They're doing a better job containing the Raiders defensively here in the second quarter, or in the second half. Balzer pops up, and heads off the field. And we'll get back into action. And again, it'll be the Aces' ball, 1st and 10 at the Raiders' 21-yard line. Hicksville up by 6 and looking to add to that. because this game has been back and forth, and you're going to need a couple of two-score margin or better to start to be able to feel kind of comfortable in this game. Tunis in motion. Greer drops back, looks down the field, puts the ball in the air, wide open. Parker Thiel into the end zone. He gets his bell rung, but he hangs onto the ball. The second time Thiel has taken one for the team. He takes a shot, but he holds on. And the Aces, touchdown. 21 yards out, Parker Thiel, and makes it 33-21. And Avalos back out onto the field for the extra point attempt. And they're going to go for two. Rolling out is Tunis, and Tunis dives into the end zone for the successful two-point conversion. And the Aces go up by 14, 35-21 with 1:14 left to go in quarter number 3. What a turn of events. As the Aces down at halftime have battled back to tie it up and take the lead. "21 unanswered points here in this third quarter for the Aces. Coach Smith's got to be liking that. And we'll get ready to kick it off to the Raiders once again. 1:14 left in the quarter on this last home game of the regular season here at Aces Field, senior night. Again, nice ceremony before the game, recognizing all of the fall sports. I guess I really don't want to say sports, but all the fall activity, all the seniors in band and cheerleading and football, recognizing all of them. Salvador Avalos ready to kick it off to the Raiders. Little stutter step, low liner, takes a nice hop, picked up by Eli Sin. Sin cutting across, looking to move upfield, gets his legs taken out from underneath him at about the 37, 38-yard line. And that's where the Raiders will get things started, 1st and 10. Let's see where they're going to mark him. It looks like the 38-yard line. First and 10 for Wayne Trace. Trace Sin will drop back out of the shotgun. Sin takes a snap. Quick handoff to Schultz. Schultz powering ahead to about the 46-yard line. So Schultz gets him about 8. It'll be 2nd and 2. Clock continues to roll. 4 wide receivers, 2 out on either side of the line for Trey Sin. But Sin hands it off to Schultz again. Schultz should get the first down by about a half a yard. That'll take him out to about the 48-yard line. That'll move the chains and give the Raiders a fresh set of downs. 27 seconds left in the quarter. 1st and 10, Wayne Trace from their own 48-yard line. They move the chains. They start the clock again. Should be about under 15 seconds when they snap the ball. Trey Sin looks downfield, nothing there. He tries to make it up the middle. He'll get about a yard, maybe 2. Looks like they'll mark him down at about midfield with 2 seconds, 1. And that's the end of the third quarter. So we've played 3, and the Aces lead the Wayne Trace Raiders after 3 quarters, 35-21. We'll get ready to flip the ends of the field, switch sides, and get the last 12 minutes of football in regulation at least underway here shortly. And while we're doing that, it's another great opportunity to say another big thank you to our football broadcast underwriters, the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio. If you're in the market for a vehicle, whether you want one that's brand spanking new or pre-owned, be it a car, truck, van, or SUV, you owe it to yourself to stop by and check out the terrific selection they have on the lots at the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio. And of course, you can check out the full inventory online anytime at jimschmidtauto.com. And if you don't see what it is you're looking for, let the folks at Jim Schmidt know what it is you're interested in. They'll do their very best to find exactly the vehicle that you are looking for. That's what it's all about at the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio. Sin off the hands of his intended receiver and incomplete. That'll bring up third down. 3rd and 9. .11:57. So just underway here in the third quarter. And again, thanks to Jim Schmidt Chevrolet Buick, Jim Schmidt Ford, the Jim Schmidt Truck Lot, and JimSchmidtAuto.com, our football broadcast underwriters here on HIX-TV. We give them their well-deserved due. Sin rolling out. He's being chased. He needs to get rid of that ball. It's caught. Finds a receiver. He's still on his feet and down to near the 30-yard line. Ball was caught by number 25, Jake Kuhn. Kuhn will get it down to about the 26, 27-yard line. About the 31, 32-yard line. That'll be good enough for a first down. 31-yard line. That's where they mark it officially. First and 10, Raiders. Clock continues to roll. Wayne Trace down by 14, looking to close the gap here a little bit. They need to score, and then they need to get the ball back and score again. Trace in, puts a man in motion, takes the snap, hands it off to Schultz. Schultz, flag thrown on the play, and another flag thrown on the play. Caleb Schultz got the carry, and he took it down to about the 26-yard line, but there are a couple of flags on the field. And we'll see if we've got one penalty or two. I think it was two. I think Amy's right, because they threw one right away when the play started, and then the second one came out about 5 seconds later. We've got another conference of the officials here. So both the teams are kind of milling around, so we're not sure exactly what's going to happen. So we'll wait for the official word here. All right, so we're going to have an illegal block in the back against Hicksville. And then an unsportsmanlike against the Raiders. So see if they just offset those penalties. I'm going over to explain things to Coach Lucas Smith. And they're talking with representatives of the Raiders. And there's another official talking with the Raiders head coach on the far sideline. So we'll see what they do with the ball. Right now, they've got it at the 33-yard line, or the 32-yard line, just about the original line of scrimmage. And it looks like, we're just going to have offsetting penalties, and they're going to replay the down. So first and 10 again from about 32-yard line for the Raiders. We're going to have an official stoppage here, and now we'll crank it up again. Okay. I think they've gotten everything all figured out. Snap, Trey Sin. Sin puts the ball in the air. It's going to be incomplete. John Sin, the intended receiver, and it hits the turf. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Raiders. Only takes a few ticks off the clock with the play. 11:05 left in the contest. Again, Aces up by 14. Snap, Sin dropping back, looking downfield, nothing there. Tries to keep the ball himself and make some forward progress, but he's going to be dropped for about a yard loss. That's going to bring up 3rd down and about 11. And even though their punter is on the field, he's not showing no indication of them punting. Well, it's only 3rd down. I'm getting ahead of myself. So a 3rd and long for the Raiders as they're backed up to their own 34-yard, or to the Aces' 34-yard line. Trey Sin will drop back. Schultz beside him. Or excuse me, Coons behind him. Sin puts the ball in the air, and it's incomplete. Eli Sin not able to hold on to it, and that's going to bring up 4th and 11, and now we'll see what the Raiders want to do on a 4th and long from the Aces' 34-yard line. Raiders fans, of course, want them to take a shot. They're on the Aces side of the field, and it looks like they are going to go for it. On a 4th and 11, it's the 4th quarter. You're down by 14. Got to take a crack at it here. 3 wide receivers on the far side of the field, 2 on the near side, and timeout Raiders. So Wayne Trace came out, got into their formation, took a look at the way the defense lined up for the Aces, and took their first time out of the half with 10:03. And again, they're down by 14. When we come out of the timeout, the Raiders are going to be looking at a 4th and 11 from the Aces' 34-yard line. Both squads huddling up. They work on the strategy. The Aces, of course, would love to get a stop here and get the ball back. Got to say, too, on all the home games this year, the cheerleaders have been throwing out they get little footballs every year that they throw out, and I have a collection because always, every year up till now, always one of them has made their way. They've always tossed one up here into the press box. But this year, none of them had the arm strength. It's the first year I haven't got a little football. 10:03 to go as the Raiders come out of their timeout. They have 2 remaining for their balance of the game. They're going to go for it on a 4th and 11 from the Aces' 34-yard line. Trey Sin in the backfield puts Eli Sin in motion. Snap, rolls back, puts the ball in the air, and they blow it dead. And there's a flag on the play, and that usually means false start, and it does. So back them up 5, and we'll see what the Raiders want to do now with 4th and 16. Amy says she thinks they're still going to go for it. I kind of figure they may well do that. Might as well. Again, they're still on the Aces side of the field. They need to get down to about the 22, 23-yard line to move the chains. They're at the 39 right now. And again, they're going to go for it. 10 minutes exactly left in the game. Trey Sin all alone in the backfield. He's sending 5 downfield, it looks like. And he's going to get snowed under. I don't think they were expecting that. So they're going to give it up on downs, and the Aces are going to get the ball back on their own 45-yard line. It's pretty darn good field position. Trey Sin, I don't know if he noticed it or not, but he had Johnson got himself open. It wouldn't have been enough for the first down, but he would have been able to get it down the field maybe about 8-10 yards. But he didn't see them, or he didn't see him in time, because by the time he was waving his hands about that same time, that's when Trey Sin got snowed under and taken down again at the 44-yard line. That's where they've placed the ball, and that's where the Aces will take over on offense. On their own 44. Greer all alone in the backfield. He puts Tunis in motion. Jake hands onto the ball himself. Greer, first down yardage. A nice run. He picks up about 11 yards, gets to the 44-yard line, and that'll move the chains. So, yep. Greer picks up just over 10 yards to get a first down for the Aces. They put the ball on the Raiders' side of the field. And the clock rolling at 9:35 and counting, and I expect that as long as they can keep this ground game going, the Aces may keep it on the ground here for a while. Nothing doing there. Gain of maybe a yard. Camiso takes it right up the spout, and he gets inside the 45 to the 44-yard line. A pickup of 1, 2nd and 9. Greer now alone in the backfield once again. And again, he puts Tunis in motion. This time he hands it to Peyton. Peyton turns the corner. Tunis still on his feet, down near the 30-yard line. It looks like they took him down about the 32, which will be good enough for another first down. And again, that keeps Peyton kept it in the field of play, didn't go out of bounds. They'll only stop the clock long enough to move the chains. Again, the clock working in favor of the Aces right now with that 14-point lead. They set the flags on the other side of the field and start the clock rolling once again, 8:40 and counting. Greer puts Camiso in motion this time, and Jake hangs onto the ball himself. Greer, nice hole. Greer still on his feet. Greer headed for the end zone, and they're going to push him out, it looks like, at about the 4-yard line. And we've got a flag on the field. And it's going to be a hold against the Aces. So Greer is going to get backed up, and the nice gain will be negated. They'll move the ball back to the 31-yard line. Where it'll be first and about 10. So the Aces pretty much back where they started from. The hold took place about 10 yards past the line of scrimmage, and that backed them up 10, so they're back at the original line of scrimmage, 1st and 10. Greer puts a man in motion. Jake hands onto the ball himself again, and again Greer down to about the 25-yard line. And that should make it 2nd and about 5, which is okay with the Aces. Again, they're keeping it on the ground. They're keeping the clock rolling. Raiders have 2 timeouts left, but at this point, they don't want to start using them up. There's still way too much game clock left. But a nice drive by the Aces here, again, to burn off a lot of that clock. Be just what the doctor ordered. Greer takes the snap. Jake hangs onto it again. Greer still on his feet. And Greer motoring down. That'll move the flag. That'll be a 1st and goal for the Aces. as they spotted inside the 5-yard line. Logan Nyhart, wearing number 10 tonight, into the game, along again with number 13, Zach Whitty. Their power runners. Ball on the 2-yard line, 1st and goal. Greer under center. Puts Tunis in motion. Greer handing it off to Nyhart. Nyhart powering forward and into the end zone. So for the second time tonight, Nyhart, wearing Noah Carrickson's number 10, punches it in from short distance. 2-yard run into the end zone. And the Aces have, I think, now officially kind of got this game in hand as they're up by 20 now, 41-21, with the extra point attempt pending. Zach Whitty gets the jumping body slam high five from Coach Lucas Smith as he comes over to the sideline. Salvador Avalos getting set. Tunis puts the ball down. Kick is up. Looks pretty good from here, and it is. Avalos gets the extra point, and it's 42-21 as the Aces go up by 3 touchdowns with 7:25 left to go in the contest. And now for the Wayne Trace Raiders, the pressure is really on. They're going to have to move the ball and move the ball quickly and score touchdowns if they want to pull this game out. Logan Nyhart. He's wearing Noah Carrickson's number 10 tonight. Sorry about that. Had to give a little information to our colleague from the Crescent News. He was looking at his roster and didn't realize that Logan Nyhart was wearing Noah's number 10 tonight, so wanted to know who scored the touchdown. So it's a big happy family up here in the press box. Avalos ready to kick it off to the Raiders. 7:25 left in the contest. Salvador puts his leg into it, caught by Saylor, and Saylor going to get taken down before he makes it to the 30-yard line. Whitty was the one that put the stop on him at about the 28-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Wayne Trace Raiders. Got their work cut out for them now. I see Amy on the camera. She called it at halftime. She said the Aces are going to have to come out and work on the short gain ground game, and that's what they did. And they got it to work to their advantage. Snap to Trey Sin. Sin. Handoff. Might have got a couple yards. I think it was Schultz that had the carry, and he gets 2 out to the 30. Make it 2nd and 8. And the clock continues to roll. Trey Sin all alone in the backfield now. 5 guys going downfield, puts the ball in the air. Caught by Johnson and taken down at the 50-yard line. Sin extended that 6'3" frame, grabbed it, and it gets taken down in midfield. 1st and 10 Raiders. They'll stop the clock long enough to move the chains. They're set. And Trey Sin takes the snap. Quick pass. Caught. Again, Johnson, and Sin will get taken down after a pickup of about 8. Johnson picks up 8. 2nd and 2. And it'll be about 6 minutes left in the game, so it'll be about halfway through the fourth quarter when they snap the ball. Trace in, again working out of the shotgun. Takes the snap, spins around, puts the ball in the air. Caught for a first down on the far side of the field. Again, Johnson with his third consecutive catch. That'll move the chains. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Raiders at the Aces 35-yard line. Trace in again, all alone in the backfield, and looks to send 5 downfield. Sin throws quickly, caught by Eli Sin, and first down yardage for Eli Sin down around the 20. Looks like he might have got inside the 20. So Eli Sin makes the catch and takes it down to the 19-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Trace in with the snap. Puts the ball in the air and incomplete. Good defense from the Aces. Number 5, Mason Van Atta, and looks like Hunter Evans both in there. And they're able to deflect the ball away from Eli Sin. Incomplete. That'll make it 2nd and 10. Clock stops on the incompletion with 5:11 left in the game. Trace in, dropping back, looking downfield again. Puts the ball in the air. Caught. Eli Sin makes the grab. There's an ace on the field. So Eli Sin takes the ball down to about the 1-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Raiders. And I think it might be Tunis on the turf, but I can't tell for sure. He's got the pink leggings, and I think Peyton is wearing the pink leggings tonight, but Doc Haggerty looking at him. Like I said, I think it's Peyton Tunis, and it looks like he might have taken a shot. Hopefully he just got the wind knocked out of him, or maybe cramped up a little bit. He's sitting up now as it's grown eerily quiet. There's absolutely no sound in Aces Stadium. Tunis pops up. It was Peyton Tunis. It was down. He's walking off under his own power. He'll have to come out for at least a play. And the crowd breathes a sigh of relief. And he gets a nice round of applause. He and Doc Haggerty will head over towards the sideline. And the Raiders with a 1st and goal from the 1-yard line of the Aces, 5:05, looking to cut into the 21-point lead that Hicksville has built up. Trace in, quarterback keeper, and they're going to say that he broke the plane, so touchdown Raiders. I didn't think he made it in, but the one official on the goal line raised his hands. He was the only one who did, but they're going to put the points on the board. It's 42-27. And we'll see Hayden Gillett on the field. We haven't seen him for a while. Attempt the extra point. Ball down, up, and good. So Gillett, it's got kind of an ugly-looking kick there, but it does what it needs to do. It splits the uprights and gets them the extra point. And with 4:57 left in regulation in the fourth quarter here, it is the Aces now leading the Wayne Trace Raiders by 14, 42-28. So credit the Raiders doing what they had to do. Get the ball, get it into the end zone, and not take off a whole lot of time doing it. They've got just under 5 minutes to work with. So the Aces will need to have the good hands people out for this kickoff. And the first thing, of course, is to make sure that if it is an onside kick, they don't give possession back to the Raiders. And then when they get the ball back, again, keep it on the ground, keep that clock rolling, and let it work with them. And good news, Peyton Tunis back out on the field for the kickoff return. So he was out for only the one play. So whether it was a cramp or he just got the breath back, the wind knocked out of him, Tunis back on the field and looking okay. Gillett to kick it off. And it is the onside kick and falling on the 50-yard line. Good play, number 55, Balzer. So Brant Balzer falls on the football. Didn't try anything fancy. Just fell on it and held on. It had gone the requisite 10 yards, so it was technically a live ball. So Balzer does what he has to do and gives the Aces good field position. 1st and 10 right at midfield on the 50-yard line. And now the Aces, again, can kind of relax. And as long as they can keep it on the ground, pick up a few first downs, they can burn off a lot of this clock and really make things tough on the Wayne Trace Raiders. Greer drops the ball. It's loose. Jake got it back. There's a scary one. The snap came to Jake Greer, and he started to turn and move with the ball before he actually had control of the ball. Bounced loose, and a Wayne Trace Raider was right there, but fortunately it ricocheted, and Greer was able to fall on it and scoop it up. So loss of a couple, back to about the 47-yard line to make it 2nd and 13. And you could feel everybody in the stadium take a gasp when that happened. So with the 2nd and 13, Greer puts Tunis in motion. Jake hangs on to the ball himself. Jake keeps it on the ground, gets across the 50-yard line to about the 48 of the Raiders. That'll bring up 3rd down and about 9. Well, 3rd and 8, excuse me. Clock continues to roll, under 4 minutes now. Aces would like to, again, to pick up the first down here. So Greer will set the offense. He's all alone in the backfield. Again, puts Tunis in motion. Greer hangs onto the ball himself. Jake dives forward to about the 45-yard line. They'll be short of the first down, obviously. They're going to mark him down at the 46, where it'll be 4th down and about 6. And they're going to go for it on the 4th and 6. Why not? They're up by 14. And again, Tunis goes in motion. And now they're going to
Take a timeout. Take a timeout.
they finally take timeout before the play clock expires. I'm not sure, but Greer obviously was trying to get him to jump, so to make it a 4th and 1, a little more manageable. And then I'm not sure, there was some miscommunication. Jake was yelling something at the sideline, and Coach Smith was yelling something back, and I'm not sure their wires were crossed or what was going on. So the Aces will burn their first timeout of the second half. And it will be a fourth and 6th play. Ball sitting on the Wayne Trace Raiders' 46-yard line. 2:43 left in the contest. So the Aces will break huddle. And hopefully they'll figure out what they want to do here. they've got Avalos back to punt. Salvador, nice kick. And it's going to be downed at the 20-yard line by the Aces. So again, no return, good special teams play as Avalos kicks it, and the special teams player is able to get down and prevent any kind of a return from the Raiders. And Wayne Trace will get the ball first and 10 on their own 20 with 2 minutes, 36 seconds to work with and 2 timeouts. Down by 14. So again, the Raiders are not going to have a lot of time. They're going to have to move down the field quickly. So, and again, with incomplete passes and so forth. Quick catch by Eli Sin. Sin steps out of bounds and stops the clock on the far side of the field as he gets them out to about the 32-yard line. That'll be a first down for the Raiders, and they only take a couple seconds off the clock. So the ball at the 31. And like I said, if the Raiders use those little quick hitters, they pick up 5-10 yards each time, step out of bounds and stop the clock. They can move down the field and give themselves plenty of time to work with. Trace in, dropping back, ball in the air, caught and taken down in the field of play at the 35, 36-yard line. That was Jake Kuhn with the catch. That'll keep the clock rolling as we approach 2 minutes. Ball at the 37-yard line, 2nd and 4 for the Raiders. Trace in, again dropping back, looking downfield, puts the ball in the air, and it's incomplete. John Sin, the intended receiver, unable to haul it in. That'll bring up 3rd down. Clock stops on the incomplete pass. 1:54 left in the game. They're sending 5 downfield, it looks like. Trace in, gets the snap. Drops back, ball in the air, off the hands, and incomplete. Eli Sin couldn't haul it in, and that'll bring up 4th down. And 1:51 left in the contest. So 4th down for the Raiders. A 4th and 4. And that's going to give them 5 the easy way unless somebody moved. So we'll see if it's a false start or an encroachment. And it'll be a false start. That'll back them up. That makes the 4th and 4, 4th and 9. The Raiders really don't have any choice, though. They've got to go for it. Unless they're willing to concede this game. And they're not about to do that. So movement on the line backs them up 5 to make it a 4th and 9. Trey Sin, again, looking like he's going to send 4 down. He's got a back beside him. Ball snaps in. Launches it. And it's going to be incomplete. And the Aces are going to win this game. They're going to take it over on downs with 1:44. Wayne Trace can stop the clock twice. So the Aces are going to probably have to run a couple of plays. But it should be pretty much academic at this point. First and 10, Hicksville at the Wayne Trace Raiders 32-yard line. Minute 44 left in the game. Still too much time to be able to take a knee, but Greer hands it off to Tunis. Tunis turns the corner, gets to the 30-yard line. Nice cut, gets down inside the 20. He'll be brought down in the field to play. They'll stop the clock long enough to move the chains as Tunis takes him down to the 16-yard line. They'll get the flags in place and start the clock again. And again, Greer and company can take their time. And they bring in Logan Nyhart and Zach Whitty again, the power runners. I don't think we're going to see the ball in the air at all. Greer's going to come up under center as we near a minute left in the game. Greer takes a knee. And no timeout being called by the Raiders. So that's going to pretty much do it. They'll have to snap it one more time here. As with the knee, it's now 2nd and 11 with 40 seconds left to go and counting. Greer checking things over. And he'll take the knee, and that should do it. We'll see if he needs to do one more. Nope. The final seconds will tick away. We're down to 15 seconds and counting. And that's going to be the ball game. The Aces go to 6-0 in the Green Meadows Conference and 7-2 overall with a win over the Wayne Trace Raiders tonight. Your final score, Hicksville 42 and Wayne Trace 28. Aces were down at halftime, but they made some great adjustments in the locker room, came out, went away from the passing game a little bit, and concentrated on the running game. That did the trick. They were able to score 21 unanswered in the third quarter to take a 14-point lead, went up by 21. And in the end, win it by 2 touchdowns, 42-28 here on senior night and Team Noah night at Aces Stadium. Aces will be in action one more time in the regular season. They're on the road for their last game of the regular campaign, and what a game it is going to be. The Aces undefeated in the Green Meadows Conference against the Ayersville Pilots. We don't know how the Pilots fared tonight, but they went into tonight undefeated and also with a perfect conference record. So it could be the battle of the undefeateds in the GMC for the conference crown next Friday. And again, thanks to our good friends at the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships underwriting our football coverage. We'll be there to bring you the action here on HIX-TV. As we get ready to wrap things up, I want to say a big thank you once again to the Aces athletic departments and athletic directors, Mr. Hott and Mr. Overmeyer. Appreciate their making us feel very welcome, giving us the space every week. Also to the bands performing at halftime. Terrific show. Congratulations and best wishes to all of the seniors recognized here at this senior night. And again, a tip of the hat to Team Noah, keeping Noah Carrickson's memory alive here in Hicksville as well, and making sure that he's not forgotten in what would have been his senior year. So with that, we're going to wrap it up, pack things up, and head on out of here. Again, a big thank you to our football broadcast underwriters, the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio, and online at jimschmidtauto.com. And one final time here from Aces Field, your final score, it's the Aces beating the Wayne Trace Raiders 42-28. For Amy Murphy on the camera, I'm Bill Murphy for Hicksville Community Television, wishing you good night and good sports.
Bye.